Hi, my name's Katiraee, and I'm a certified Dubsado specialist. And in today's video, we're going to talk about creating a proposal. Before you get started with your proposal, there are two things that you need to have ready. You need to have your packages ready if you're going to use packages, and you need to have your contract ready if you want to connect it to your proposal so that they're taken to the contract right after the proposal is submitted. So the fastest way to get started with a proposal is to use a template. On my website, I have a template shop. You can look at some of the options there, or you can come here to Dubsado and go to Explore Templates. They've started adding more templates here under 3.0. So if you look here and you filter by form type, you can see that there are a number of different options here. I'm going to just pick a general proposal and add it to the brand. Once you've added the proposal to your account, all you're going to do is go and edit. So you can see as I scroll through, there are a lot of different blocks that are the same type of block over and over just to give you options. So what I'm going to do right now is go and delete the ones that I don't need and just keep, for instance, one header. So all you're going to do is select the container that has that section and you're just going to delete it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I've deleted the sections that I don't want. We are also going to select this one and delete it. And now we're going to start editing. Basically, in each of these, if you click on the container, you're going to see certain settings. You're going to see a background color, a text color, the width of the container, whether it's 1 or 2 columns. These are the images that you're going to select as background images, image opacity, if you wanted to dim the image a little bit. Padding on all sides, and then margins on all sides. Padding is within the container and margin is space from the edge of the container outside. So now you just start editing, right? If you click on the logo, you can choose something from your image library to replace it with. That's a little small, so I can play with the scale and make it like 30%. Okay, so that looks good. In general, the sections that you're going to have in a proposal, and this isn't that you have to do it this way, but these are the common ones, are the header, a welcome, an about me or about us, our process, so the steps you take your clients through, testimonials that you can disperse throughout or just put as one section. You can have a portfolio or you can just showcase images throughout as well. Your packages or custom quote if you're going to do it that way. And I have a video on how to turn a proposal into a custom quote, so that you're not using packages, but rather you're creating an invoice and displaying that invoice inside the proposal. Add-ons, if you have those, then FAQs, they're details. So if there's information that you still need from your client that you don't have, sometimes you haven't asked for their address yet, so you can ask for that in the proposal. Next steps, and then a thank you message. Obviously, you can customize it however you want, but that's like the general flow. I've adapted this one, and now let's scroll down here. If I wanted to change the padding here, I could make it like 75 at the top to give it a little bit more space, or 70 so it looks a little bit more centered. These are just containers inside of containers. This is about me. So for instance, if I wanted the picture and the image to be aligned, let me delete this and move this over here and then change this image to something like that. And then you can see that the text is not aligned with the image, and that's because of the line height. Here, what you can do is add some padding at the top so that they kind of align. That's a little bit too much. I'm just going to do 25. That looks okay. And then if you needed to, you could remove padding from the top of this container and say 40 to bring it up a little bit. Okay. The other thing that you're going to keep doing here is clicking save and then previewing to see how it looks. So now I'm seeing that maybe I need a bit more padding on this end. I shouldn't have reduced that. So let's take it back to 50. And you're just going to keep doing that over and over as you go through it, okay? Over here, there's like a lot of space at the top. I'm just going to reduce that to 50. This is your approach or your process. The thing to keep in mind here is that in templates, this all looks really nice because the text is identical. When you're creating text boxes that are going to be different for each step of your process, try to make them around the same size. I know it's not always possible. If one step is way longer than another, then maybe you don't want to use the side-by-side approach, but rather this more vertical approach, okay? You can keep the one that works the best and then delete the one that you don't need. I don't recommend putting that many steps. You also don't want to make this proposal really long. The intent is to share the information that they need to make a decision. That's it. Nothing more than that. You don't want to overwhelm them with too much information. You just want to give them what they need. Down here, this padding is also a little bit too much. I'm going to reduce that. And then you can keep this here if you wanted to. It's like a testimonial, so to speak. What I'm missing right now are, I think I accidentally deleted the testimonial section. So I would say keep that. I saw that there were a bunch. I think I just thought there were more than there were and I deleted them. Here are your packages. If you select this, it looks like a text box, but it's not. It's a package element. What you're going to do is once your packages are set up, you're going to select the one that applies. Here you can make this a little bit smaller if you wanted to. We can remove the proposed payment schedule and leave the button there. Then you can do the same over here and then select the package that applies so that they choose one or the other. If you didn't like the way this was displayed, you could use this one and duplicate it and use it for packages. Let's do that. Let's duplicate these two sections and drag one up here. Okay, so let's change the title here and say something like that. And basically what you're going to do is select your packages. And you can see that this one doesn't have a button because it was meant for an add-on. So you're going to delete that, go to Package Smart Fields and put button. Since I created this, I'm going to delete these up here. And then what I could do is change the background color. Let me find a different color, this one. And so I grab the color from this background and bring it up to the package section and do that. Now I'm going to swap out these images for ones that I have, like that. Then you have your packages all displayed. And so here are your add-ons. So you can see that for the add-ons, since it's per page, in this case, they have a quantity instead of a button. So if you come down here, quantity, and then they can select up or down to go from 0 to however many. And you can set a maximum as well. You can see here there's 1,000. So if you wanted to make it 10, you can do that. These are FAQs. The same thing I mentioned in the process section applies to the FAQs. You can see here the text is identical. So these are going to look fine side by side. But sometimes your text is going to be quite different and it just won't work. And that's okay. Maybe what you do is you just duplicate this one and keep like 3 FAQs. These have a lot of padding in between them. So I'm just going to remove that top margin from the different ones and leave it like that. And then I would delete all of these. And that way, no matter how long your questions are, it's not going to look wonky. I might reduce this top margin a little bit. Go like that. And then keep saving as you go. And then here is your details. So what I'm going to do here is duplicate this title and pull it up here. Call it something like that. And then I can add some padding over here because it doesn't have any. And then this one has too much padding at the top. So we're going to reduce that. And then you can change this, like you can remove that. You can restructure this one as well. So I personally do it this way so they're not all smooshed together. I pull states and zip and city, and then I turn this one, I click on the container and go from 4 to 2. So it looks a little bit more balanced. And these are all mapped. So what that means is that when someone fills out this question, it's connected to first name. So Dubsado knows that. And if you wanted to make shipping address or address required, you're just going to toggle on this button. And you can see state is mapped to state. When you reference someone's address, it's going to pull all of those together into the address. If you didn't want business name, you can remove that. Then let's make it official. Let's make that the same color. So I'm going to pull this color from this container and change that. And you can see here that some of this text is gray. So what I'm going to do is grab this color and bring it over to this container and use it for the text. And so now it doesn't look gray, it's this black color. Okay, and you can do the same for all of these containers. You can set a text color for the entire container. You can still customize, but you'd have to highlight and select a color like this. But you can set all of the other ones to your brand color, like the one that you used for text. So you can go around everywhere and do this. And then here, I would remove this. The reason for removing that is what you want people to do in a proposal is make a decision. You want them to decide whether to work with you or not to work with you. And you're giving them all the information they need to make a decision. By giving them links to other places, your socials, your blog, your YouTube channel, or whatever, you are giving them an out. The brain doesn't have to make a decision. It's, ooh, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole and go look at this person's Instagram profile. And so that saves them from having to make a decision. Do not give them an out. Give them the information they need to make a decision and then let them sit with it. Do not give them external links in a proposal. I see it over and over, and it is not helping your conversion rate. I tell this to all of my clients. I always show them that this is not a good idea because it can lead to people going away and not coming back to your proposal. Here, I'm going to save it and preview it. And obviously, there's some things you're going to have to tweak for the sake of time. I'm not going to get into all of those. You can see here that maybe there's too much white space, or this section could be a different color. These images need to be smaller. They're too big. Or they could be square like this section down here. For the most part, it looks okay, but that's how you're going to edit a proposal so that you can send it out quickly to your clients. And now the important part. So in form settings, if you're going to send this with a contract, you're going to make sure this is toggled on and you're going to select a contract. That's the important part. If you want them to select multiple packages, so that means that they can select a base package and some add-ons. This needs to be toggled on. If you just want them to select one thing out of what's in your proposal, you toggle that off. If you want the proposal to go from the proposal to the contract to the invoice, make sure that invoice is toggled on. And what that invoice is going to display is everything that they've selected inside of the proposal. You can create discounts where you create packages and then you can toggle that on and select the ones that apply. And they can put a discount code in the invoice. If you're going to use a payment plan, you can select it here. It's important to note here that if you're using a workflow that has a payment plan attached to it, do not apply the payment plan here because they will cancel each other out and then you will not have a payment plan on the invoice. If you want to create a public proposal, you're going to toggle that on. I have another video about what that is and how that works. Basically, a public proposal is one that you can put on your website for people to sign up right away. They don't need to talk to you. It's just ready to go. When they fill this out, it creates a new project for them in Dubsado. You can go check out that video. You can set an expiration date. So when you send it out, they see at the very top a message that says this proposal is active until X, right? You can do a relative date or a fixed date or no expiration. This is how you can quickly create a proposal in Dubsado to send it out to your clients. I hope that was helpful. If you need help with your Dubsado setup, feel free to reach out. Go to my website and book a discovery call, and we can talk about what it looks like to work together. I help create custom setups tailored to your specific client process, and I create all of the templates that you need and the workflows to help automate a lot of the tasks in Dubsado to help save you time. I'll see you next time.